Hey guys, so what is a hybrid trust or a bridge trust? What it is a fully registered foreign Cook Island trust that is fully registered offshore in the offshore jurisdiction from the moment that it's created. But then for tax purposes and for purposes of IRS compliance under Section 7701, it's bridged back to the US and treated like a domestic trust for tax purposes. What this means is that it is simpler to manage and to use. It does not have to file the Form 1035s. We can have a US based trustee, which is easier to work with. And in most cases, because of its grantor trust status, that can be you, the client yourself, as your own trustee, letting you maintain direct control of your assets. And there's a very minimal, if not zero, compliance at all for the trust because it's seen as a domestic grantor trust. And it's this blending of irrevocability and grantor status that's very unique and found under IRS Section 675 and 677. But it's this status that confuses individuals who are just unfamiliar with these trusts. But it's combining these unique attributes of irrevocability and grantor status that gives our clients all the protection of an offshore trust with the ease and tax simplicity of a domestic trust. And because it's a discretionary trust, a judge can't force you to make a distribution to give it to a creditor. And that's one of the big keys. But if you're ever in a big problem and you're sued with like a doomsday lawsuit and the assets are under threat, remember, it is a registered foreign trust. The trust protector, your attorney, can declare a state of duress, and we break that bridge. And that causes the foreign offshore trustee in the Cook Islands to become empowered and to lock down all the assets by becoming what the trust actually is, a fully foreign offshore trust with all that statutory protection. And all your assets at that point in time are outside the reach of any US courts. So you are really getting the benefit of both a domestic trust and a foreign trust. That's why we call it a hybrid trust, bridge trust. If you set up a bridge trust and you never need it, it just stays a simple domestic trust and it's super easy to maintain, substantially cheaper to set up and create, and the annual maintenance fee are substantially lower. But if you ever have to use it, we have a fully foreign trust from that date the system was actually created, not the date that we actually crossed the bridge. So we don't have any fraudulent transfer or fraudulent conveyance issues as long as we set up the trust up front and fund the trust before we have an incident like a lawsuit. So for 99% of my clients, the bridge trust, these hybrid trusts, they're the best choice and generally where we're starting out. For that remaining 1%, a fully foreign trust is the best option, but virtually none of the time are we ever using a purely US domestic trust simply because the case law is not on its side and it's just a weaker tool.